before we move any further, we need to take a look at subd modifier or subdivision modifier and what it does. So first of all, what is subdivision? Subdivision is just adding resolution to our object. Like if I go into edit mode and right click and press subdivide, it will. Let's not look at other faces. So in front view, if we see, we have only one face over here, and if we right click it and press subdivide, it will divide this face into 4 separate faces, right? Into 4 pieces. And if we subdivide it one more time, each face has been subdivided into another 4 pieces. So, and it will continue to do it all the while adding more and more resolution or geometry to our object. Let's remove it and Control Z. Let me duplicate this cube, Shift T, X. Now, whatever we did this in edit mode, and this subdivision, this added resolution is permanent, right? It cannot be undone. This is a destructive way of modeling, and there's a limit to how much subdivision we can add, right? And let's say if we add like, let's say if we subdivide this like 10, now this is a very dense mesh and it would be very hard to work with something like this. So undo it. Let's undo it. Another way to subdivide our cube with a modifier that is exactly called subd, subdivision modifier, and it's a non-destructive way of creating objects, smooth objects. Let's go into our modifiers tab, subdivision surface, add it. There are 2 modes in here. One is Catmull-Clark and other one is simple mode. Let's first take a look at this simple mode. If you go into edit mode and try to see what this modifier is doing, you can see it basically is not doing anything. So as with all modifiers, the changes will only reflect when we apply it. So let's apply our modifier with a level of 2. Apply it, and now let's select both of these, and if we go into edit mode, you can see both of these are identical. So we have added the same level of geometry by applying our subd modifier in simple mode, right? So that is one way to look at it. So we just applied it for a visual representation, and we could have worked without applying it. So let's delete everything, and let me delete this cube and add another cube, GX and GZ, and let me add my subdivision modifier. So this is now the second, or our first option, Catmull-Clark. So what is this doing? If we go into simple mode, our cube remains intact, but if we go into this Catmull-Clark, this mode squishes our object and it no longer resembles the cube that we originally had, and it has now become some sort of a sphere, right? So what is this modifier doing, right? What this algorithm is trying to do is trying to smooth this area between these 2 vertices, and the distance between these vertices is too much. So right, there is nothing in between. So that's why we are witnessing this squishing effect, like it is squishing our cube into this sphere. So how can we fix it? So to fix this, we have to add certain loops around our object like this. Let's add one over here and put it over here. Make sure you don't mix these two. Just over here would be fine, right? Just like this, so that they don't intersect, and then add another loop like so over here. And then if you look at the top now, you can see we are getting some shape, some cubical shape, but still not completely perfect. So let's add one more loop cut like this over here, and one loop over to the opposite side. You can see now our object has now started to look like a cube. I think I can add one more loop over here and one over here. So now you can see we have a beautiful cube. Right click, shade smooth. Now you can see we have a beautiful cube. So that is how we can use this modifier. So let's hide these for the time being. H, to hide something we press H. Let's take a look at another example. Let's add Shift A. Let's add a cylinder and GZ. Move it up, GZ, Shift T, make a copy just like that, and go into the first cylinder, edit mode, add like 6 cuts, number of cuts 6. For this we will add nothing, no cuts, right? So if I add my subd modifier to this, you can see what happens over here, and if I add my subd modifier to this too, you can see what happened over here. Since there were already supporting edges between these two vertices from first and last, this cylinder has somewhat retained its shape, right? It's not completely squished. Only issue that we have is over here and at the bottom, right? So this one is very, very good. This result is good. And if we come over here, you can see since there was nothing to support these vertices, right? So everything is squished. I don't even know what it looks like. So now to get the same result, if we add like 1, 2, 3, 6 loop cuts, so you can see we have the same result. And we can also, to fix this, right, to fix this top part, so we cannot add a loop cut at the top. So to do that, we need to inset this part, right? So we will use another command only for faces like these. We will use another command, that is I to inset. If I do this, you can see now it looks, this area has been fixed. Same way, if I come over here, select this face and press I to inset, and then right click, shade smooth, this has been fixed. Or has it? No, it hasn't been. Let's inset it one more time. Select this face, I, and inset it like this. So it has been fixed. Same way, I inset, and it's done. This is a very good result. Same way, now if we come here, and now we can either inset this, or we can take a look at another method, that is in edge select this edge and bevel it. To bevel something, we will just press Ctrl B. This is the shortcut, and if you bevel it and leave it alone and then come over here, we just want one more segment and we will get the same result. We should technically. Same way for the bottom one too. Let's add bevel, 2 segments, and if we increase our levels viewport, we will get a clean result. And let's quickly take a look at these 2 settings. Levels viewport means how our object will look in our viewport, and render means how this object will actually be rendered. So for my levels viewport, I have kept the level to 1 for viewport only. It will show me a subdivision level of 1, but when we finally render this object, it will have a subdivision level of 2. And why do we have 2 separate modes for this modifier? Answer is very simple. Most of the time things can get really heavy, and it's advisable that for rendering our object we increase this setting to like 3, 4, depending on how much resolution we want on the final product. And for levels viewport, we keep it to just 1 so that our PC does not lag. Let's quickly take another example. Shift A, mesh, circle, and change the vertex count to 8. Go into edit mode, tab, if I do this like in front view, easy, right, and then easy, one more, right, and easy. I will scale it like this, then easy, scale it some more like this, E and Z, and scale it just like this. And for the bottom part, I will just fill it with F, and then bevel it like this. So now if I add my subd modifier to this, like this, and if I shade smooth it, you can see we have created a bottle of sorts within minutes. And depending upon our, and if I do this, this will give it some definition like this. You can see now, you can see it's a very good way to model things. We usually create a low poly model just like this. It's like, you can see that it's basically a bunch of faces that are extruded, nothing special. And but when we add our subdivision modifier to it, it just makes our jagged low poly model into this beautiful bottle. So that's it for this video.